Of course, in the UK, they were given a green light to start. In Germany, the German football team gave a very comprehensive, concrete reopening strategy, which the government, that's the Chancellor Angela Merkel, allowed football to reopen. So the same should happen in Kenya. So niko na Sami Onyango, who's also a very senior official in the National Gun Owners Association. He's also a firearm instructor in the country. Nimekupatia titles mingi. Leo Sami Onyango ameamua kuvaa mask. Unajua niko na yangu Sami, sijui mbona unaringa sana. Twende to show off.
Nilikuwa nataka kukupatia caution kwanza. Nikuulize how come today you don't have a mask on?
No. Sasa unaweza uliza basi. Unaweza uliza basi. Yeah, good. But of course, thank you so much for making time, Sami.
Yes.
Tuanze tu haraka haraka. When can, of course, you have links with the government. When will sports resume in the country? When do you predict?
Tony, first and foremost, I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in COVID or in the coronavirus.
You are.
Yes. Pandemic and all that issue. Yes. I am just one of the other Kenyans who is more or less concerned in seeing how well we can actually collaborate and cooperate with the government. Yes. In matters of seeing how well we can revive the sporting industry.
Yes.
And also to spread the good gospel that we are being told by our experts, who are the doctors from the World Health Organization and yes. the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
What I would actually talk about, what I would actually see is that for us to be able to open, for any sport to be able to open, yes. we simply have to accept to follow the rules and regulations set aside. If you hear any country is opening and they are going back to start their sporting activities, mainly you'll notice it is the non-contact sports that are actually opening immediately. Soccer and the rest, you'll find that, yes, the players in the field, you cannot avoid some sort of contact, but there is a lot of caution which is taken before some of the players come to the field.
Better, yeah.
You'd find that they have to be checked first to confirm that the players are actually free from the virus. Yes. You'll have to notice also that the 90% or 70% of the cases that are being dealt with today are actually asymptomatic. True. So they are not things that you can actually tell by looking at someone. And these are the regulations that must be put into place currently.
Very true.
When we talk about what is the Kenyan government doing in matters of reopening sports in Kenya, yes. then we are talking about how many federations have come together currently, how many have started with the Ministry of Sports. Yes. And currently I'm aware that the Ministry of Sports has gone way far to consult the Ministry of Health and to consult the World Health Organization just to ensure that actually some measures are already being put into place and others are being worked upon to ensure that social distancing, sanitization, say isolation booths are put in stadiums, having a COVID response person. As you know, in sports, we always have a standby medic or an ambulance yes. or someone who can handle in case there's an injury.
Yes.
So to extend it further, there should be somebody who is an expert in matters COVID, who can also be able to identify after you do the testing and you find that maybe somebody's temperature is above 38, someone who can actually direct, move in with maybe donned into the right PPEs, yes. and to be able to take care of such scenarios. So with course, Kenya, we're leading that direction.
My director, you have pictures to share with us about football. I'd also put some Gor Mahia pictures and AFC Leopards pictures. Director, cheza kama wewe. If you're joining us, this is K24SportsHub. I have, of course, Sami Onyango. Sami, let me ask, Sports Federation, football was cancelled. Was it a rushed decision? Of course, we've seen France cancel their top flight league because they were very worried these things were getting out of hand. Do you think that was a very premature?
I would say there's nothing premature with COVID. COVID is a new disease that has come and hit the world under total surprise. And all precautions and all measures had to be taken with immediate effect. You'd rather cancel today and reopen tomorrow than leave it open and see a disaster. We have seen many countries who have said, no. Let us still wait and see. Yes. And what has come out of that is a disaster. The spike you're seeing on the cases that are rising, the people who are still not in belief, it has been a problem. So I would say that I don't think it was a problem in cancellation of football sports or any other sport yes. that happened. Precautions are usually better taken. It's better you take the precautions than later on suffering the consequences.
But Sami, this stops life. I mean, if you can look, of course, on our screens, this is the kind of situation we will be expecting. This is a Gor Mahia game versus AFC Leopards. It pulls a lot of crowds. Life has to continue, but minus the crowd.
That is true. You will notice that most of the leagues that have reopened in Europe, yes. you'll notice that a stadium used to hold 20 to 30,000 spectators. But right now you're seeing 1,000 spectators. If you look at the seating arrangement that has actually been put there, you send a Ministry of Health officer there or somebody from World Health Organization, they'll definitely tell you 1.5 meter spacing. You'll see that they will separate the kind of seating. So the stadium that holds 30 to 40,000 people might end up only holding 5,000 people. And that is what we have to start thinking of right now. If we want to reopen tomorrow, we must be ready to accommodate only 5,000 in a stadium of 60,000 or something similar, and people to watch this sport through other media, which can still work and positively generate income for us. We just need to think outside the box.
And on that, of course, income. Right now, federations, how can they readjust? Now that you've talked about income, of course, looking at this kind of number of funds, these are huge numbers. Gate collections are not going to be there. Now, how can they readjust in terms of airing these games? Because I'm seeing most teams in the UK or in Europe will be streaming their games on YouTube or something like that. There should be new ways that teams can pick up.
Yeah, it's true. Same thing here in Kenya. We will find that whenever you used to get home in the evening, you'd find that you want to rush and watch your team, Manchester playing. I'm a Manchester fan, by the way, so I will not mention Arsenal, and I think they'll forgive me for it. I'll just put it. You'll find that you used to get home early enough and you wanted to go and watch your soccer match. So now you can watch it from your phone, you can watch it from at home, and you'll find that now teams have to embrace the new technology. And this technology is with us today. It will be there with us and it has to stay with us. And through that, we can be able to generate the income. Equally also, teams have to look at a way now, and the federations have to look at a way that they will promote vending of even some commodities online to support the sport. So it's not a matter of just thinking rigidly, we used to go and get collections and we have to get money from there. Now they have to even take some of their clips. They have to find a way of sending those clips. If you want to download a particular clip, they have to find a way of actually playing it in a manner where you can actually segregate and find that only when the goalkeeper was receiving the ball or kicking it from one quarter to the other quarter, you can reverse back and get it. Make it more interesting, make it more challenging. In fact, create more jobs for the youth who have done a lot of IT work and they're now sitting idle, but were used to sitting idle. They can now come up and compose some very serious things. And this will help, because we can't just sit back and say that we're waiting for that kind of scenario where you used to have 430,000 people in a stadium. It is going to be a long time unless this particular disease, COVID-19, finds a cure, which is going to be a lasting cure.
Very true. And of course, there will be a complete makeover. We have Sports Stadium Management Board that caters, of course, for the management of sports in the country. There should be a complete makeover. The way you say, there will be distances. Stadiums holding 50,000 will now be holding 1,000 or so. Now, also, Kenya was supposed to host a gun competition, a championship that you were supposed to participate in. My director, of course, you also have those pictures that put there in the Sky pictures. How are you going to restart your competition in September? Or you're still waiting for the government? Of course, these are your pictures where you are taking part in this competition. Is Kenya really going to start that? I'll speak on matters of what we have done as an association. And this I will speak by trying to put a little bit into elaboration in what shooting sport is. We actually do shoot in a distance. With us, there's no way you would have one person or the other person shooting at a close distance. We are a completely non-contact sport. We normally don't have spectators that you can find that there's a group of spectators who come. But where more than 15 people come together, there's a chance of one person transmitting the virus to the other person through one or the other transmission methods, which we've actually been told that is possible, even through surfaces, or even through sharing things like timers and sharing things like maybe even the bullets that you're charging into your firearm. As long as it's a surface, it can actually transmit from the surface to your hands and then finally to your orifice, which is going to be a problem. Let me say these pictures were for previous before COVID.
These were for previous before COVID.
So that they don't think you are,
Yeah, that was with one of the international trainers, and he's one of the best. We had actually expected to bring him into the country this year. He had to cancel the whole trip because of what you're seeing as COVID-19. But I would like to say that we as an association, we've gone further, and we've actually started training so far. The range has reopened, but we are only allowing 4 people into the range at one particular time, and the 4 people are training in if one person is training in a bay of their own. Of course, supervised by one other person, but the person is standing at a further distance for him to be able to monitor. We are taking the temperatures before the person comes into the particular shooting range, and we are taking a record of that particular person, so that in case contact tracing is required, we would be the first people to give that particular information. So we are already looking at a scenario where if the International Defensive Pistol Association requires for you to hold something called a Tier 3 competition, you need to have 75 participants, minimum of 75. But we are looking at a scenario of requesting them to relook at these regulations now and say a Tier 3 can hold maybe 50 people. And the 50 people, the competition can go to 4 days or 5 days, where you can have a maximum of 10 per day for the number of days coming for you to hold those competitions. Then eventually put the results together and you're able to tabulate it. So as we are not waiting, but what we have done also as an association, we have approached the Ministry of Health. We have gotten into a training program with the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health has gone further to guide us on how best we can be able to handle the current scenario and how we can share our capacity and our knowledge to others. Where we have gone ahead and we have been trained, we have received training for 100 TOTs, trainers of trainers, from the Ministry of Health. And I'd like to say this, Tony, without even moving a step further, we need to clap for our doctors.
Certainly. No, so
we
the
need
doctors,
to clap
we
for
have
our
to
doctors
appreciate our
100%.
True.
And we have to appreciate what the Ministry of Health is doing today. Our Ministry of Health in Kenya has removed facilitators. We have someone like Dr. Asma Awad. She's there night and day giving us advice, giving us information. No, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. One of our members from the association came up with a brilliant idea. He's called, we call him Biggie, but called Ahmed Shamsuddin. He came and he said, why don't we set up an isolation center so that one day we might be able to help the whole country with our range instead of the range sitting idle. From there, it grew into us being able to get trained as trainers of trainers. And as from trainers and trainers, we looked at the best area where we can give our services. Today, Tony, the association has gone as far as training about 800 to 900 police officers. Just giving them and equipping them with the information that is required for them to be able to know what they're dealing with and in which environment they're dealing with. We don't have to say, because they're coming from the government, let them be trained by the government. We are the government, we are the people. We must support our government for us to be able to go forward. So we have taken precautions. We were to hold the African Championships in September.
Certainly, yeah.
That now we have put on hold because now we are also waiting. World Health Organization, what is the story about travel ban? Because the participants who are coming in the Africa Championship were coming from all over the world. We can't hold it as Kenyans. We need to hold it with the other Africans. So before the travel bans and all that travel embargoes are all opened and we are allowed to accept people into the country, we have put it on hold. But then we are exploring how can we hold local competitions together, because a sports person, like in shooting, it is a perishable skill. You need to keep on in that sport for you to be able to be on top. Soccer equally. You have to keep on playing and training with your colleagues for you to be able to do the same. Boxing requires a sparring partner. How well will you be able to do that without you compromising yourself or your partner? Remember, Tony, you have to be selfish with yourself. Because if you're not selfish with yourself, then you lose your friend, and you lose your and you lose yourself.
And expose
so
others.
us as a shooting association, we are still working on it, and I'm sure we'll make some good difference.
Certainly. Sammy Onyango is of course not new to matters to do with this kind of situation. An expert, as you have heard, trainers of trainers, that have been of course given a lot of advice from the Ministry of Health, and they have trained police officers. Now, sports federations, you should not be locked up in your houses. Get in touch with Sammy Onyango, who will put you in touch with other experts who can start advising you. Don't wait for last minute moments to start resumption, because the government, of course, will advise you on the steps towards even thinking about restarting. So thank you very much, Sammy. We shall keep this conversation going. I'm sure there will be so many questions people be asking on social media. We can be able to share them, and we shall keep the conversation going. On social media, where can people find you?
National Gun Owners Association. If you just Google National Gun Owners Association, you'll find our contacts on Twitter, on Instagram. We are there on Facebook and all that. And we have our shooting range is based in Kiambu, Kirigiti, where you would come. And what I would like to say, Tony, is not that the federation should be contacting Sammy Onyango. The federation should be looking at the Ministry of Health, number one. And number two, the federations should follow an example set by the National Gun Owners Association. We are a non-political association associated by members, and our membership is our strength.
Certainly.
Yes.
Now, of course, you know where to get advice or direction. Definitely, we're all following the government and the Ministry of Health, as well as the World Health Organization, as they, of course, strive to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. We shall keep this conversation going on social media. You know where to find him, at Kwalanda, at K24 TV. Sami hauna handle kwa internet. Kwa Twitter na nini. But go to NGAO, National Gun Owners Association. Yes. Yeah. You will definitely find someone who will be able to direct you accordingly on these matters, because we have to resume sports. We have to prepare our minds, of course, to get to resume as much as we have this pandemic. Asante sana for making time. This is K24 Sports Hub right here in the capital, Nairobi. I understand kuna feedback may come through. This is the question we had asked you. We had asked you this question where I needed to send either your audio or your video on our WhatsApp, and of course we're asking, commentate any sports action, whether volleyball, whether basketball, whether rugby, whether football, whichever sport that you want to commentate. A 1-minute clip will be enough, of course, kama uko na bundles mingi, 2 minutes, so at least you can have a chance of winning for your team some lovely jerseys. Unakumbuka tulikuwa tumepatiana majezi hapa. WhatsApp, of course, looking at the feedback coming on WhatsApp. Zinakuja kitu most part loyal servant. I'm Bia Gakuyu from yes, I'm Brian Gakuyu from. Nimetuma audio. Yani tayari watu washatuma. Ni venye tukiplay hatuwezi sikia saa hii, but if of course it's there, we should be able to listen to it. Of course, we are trying to see if we can find that. This, of course, is K24 Sports. People are sending. So send an audio clip, send a video clip, send whatever you know that I will listen to. You stand a chance of winning for your team, whether your volleyball team or whatever team, jerseys for your, of course, that football team or basketball team. Hapa, remember, already gave out. Robinson Bosire has kits, 11 lovely kits for his team, as well as a football. Those merchandise are over 100,000 Kenya shillings. I mean, definitely for you. Courtesy of my very good people from Betiko amesema mwende mcheze football mjibambe nani. So of course let's listen, let's just look at some of WhatsApp feedback coming through.
Na K24 Media Max na Kagumo FC. Huyu ni Kwaranda anamwaga pasi kwake Amonyore kisigino cha mjini huyu Amonyore kata wa kwanza, kata wa pili Amonyore anarudishia Shiksha anacheza kama anaiba ile dance yake, anacheza vizuri sana Shiksha Arora. Ungedhani huyu binti alizaliwa kule Mulanga. Haya, Kwaranda.
Lovely. That should be Brian Gaku here, right? Gaku here, yes. You can see those are the things. Send it to us. Of course, you can even share the video if you like. I don't know if kuna comments or wametuma hapo hivyo. We appreciate, of course, those are we supposed. I will be listening to them. I'll also be able to share to them live. Tuzi kama kuna ingine director na 1, 2, 3 tuone kuna kaaje. I know this show is watched by, of course, my very good friends from Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda, and of course live streaming live. Hii unapatanga streaming live. We should be having, of course, another clip. We just want to share and show you that we are into a competition. This is a first in Kenya where we are doing this thing live on WhatsApp. You can just send in your video clip or your audio clip of you commentating any sports. Mwanangu hapa anasema zio Monyole, Kwalanda, nani. Let's of course listen to this our good friend.
Anaenda huko Azblikweta anapana na mpira, nampatia Blind mpira wa kurusha.
Share it, because he's watching a game and is of course commentating any game, whether ni ajua. You can commentate ajua. Oh, those fingers are going in to take the little marbles. You can commentate any banta. Ukitaka commentate pia ukitengeneza chakula, Tony amekoroga ugali, amepindua mwiko imevunjika. You can commentate any sport, you know. This is the place to be. It's a first, of course, on Kenyan television. We want to do this thing live on WhatsApp. Do your thing. We shall be sharing this every time. Naambiwa director, ama kuna moja tunaweza sikiza tafadhali Rube. Na of course on Twitter, nikiangalia kwenye Twitter, Robinson Bosire amesema asante sana, amereceive. Michael Lihondo of course amesema shukran kwa Sami kutupatia mawaidha. Moss Mwai anasema you can well of course commentate, ndio hiyo cheza kaa wewe. Makapondi Samuel anasema thank you for the insight by my good friend Sami. Of course Robbie, thank you. Mark Papie, thank you on Twitter. S Kiago, nasikia kuna moja hapa ipi commentary nyingine, acha tuisikiza anasema vipi. Should be of course Kijep Koimoi from Eldoret,
Manchester United. This Aubameyang back to Torreira. A volley back to Ozil in the midfield. It trespasses the midfield. Back to Aubameyang, Lacazette, Martinelli. Back to Mustafi to Ozil.
That is awesome. You can commentate even in your mother tongue, like me. Obkulo mpira weresia mumukhane balanga bari musianulia. Wakheresia Jen urusia khuweresa Samina na dengere muluwanya akhupire mundu balanga bari. Yeah. You know, do your thing. Sema kwa mother tongue kisikia. Tuta understand too, because tutasikia ma players. So we won't understand the other language, but tutasikia two players. Do your thing on WhatsApp. Send on WhatsApp. Nasikia kuna moja hapa hivi sija amecommentate kwa lugha gani?
Arsenal wakiwa wanajuana na Liverpool. Naona wakiingia kiwanjani. Referee anaweka kipenga mdomoni tayari kuanza ile mechi. Nizamu sasa ya Liverpool. Salah tiririka kichikicha. Anambadilishia kwa Fabinho.
Thank you guys. You just make the show great. Let's now start the commentary. I'm telling you how to give away these jerseys. Enda kwa WhatsApp. The numbers, of course, you know them. Send your comment, your video or your audio, whatever you know. We shall be sharing, of course, them live on this show. Stay on this 1:32 p.m. every Monday to Friday. Thank you so much for making time. Of course, thank you to Ngao National Gun Association of Kenya for allowing, of course, Sami Onyango to come over here. And Sami, thank you for making time. This is K24 Sports Hub. Have yourselves a lovely afternoon and be safe.